Alright, welcome back everybody for some more K2V2, and we are paused today. And we're paused today because this train has some really good timing. I did a dumb when I set it up. So we need to hurry up and fix it. So this is going to be time passed and the circuit going. Problem is, it's going to have the circuit going until it gets full. So we actually need to set this up with one other condition, which is I want to see if this will work. If we do inactivity, so now we put it back there, and you'll see it is active because it's actively being emptied. So that 30 seconds is not going to do anything if it is active, which is where we had the problem because it was waiting for 30 seconds and then taking off. And I just happened to notice it. Now, when it hits 30 seconds, it'll turn green like this one, but it won't go anywhere because it's still active. So it'll finish emptying what it can. And then if the circuit condition is still at the green check mark, then it will leave. Because I couldn't figure out why this thing kept moving. Okay, now that we got the stupid out of the way, I'll be right back and we'll do what we're planning to do today. Alright, so we are over here at the stone and sand area, and you can notice that our crushers are running pretty well all the time, and we still don't have any sand going up here to be turned into glass, which is going to be an issue because we need glass. And that's because this is taking it all trying to make our landfill. So one thing we need to get done today is we need a lot more crushers. But we also need a lot more crushers because today is all about making silicon. And to get silicon, we need quartz. And to get quartz, we need sand. So we need tons of sand because we're going to need a lot of silicon. I remember in the last game I had a huge area set up for this, and so we need to make sure that we leave this area that we're building big enough that we can add on to it as we go. And since our stone down here is going to be leaving us rather soon, then that means we can use this area as well. And similarly, our coal up here will be on its way out the door. But we're not going to be going into that area for this. Okay, so we're going to put another set of crushers on either side here. And don't do what I just did. Crushing sand gives you absolutely nothing. I just wasted sand. That's one thing with these crushers, is anything that you put in them will be voided if it does not have a recipe. So you can literally use these for trash cans. So like if I want to come up here and grab these two pistols that I'll never be using, I can put them into the crusher and they just go away. And you get literally nothing out of them. But that means I don't have them sitting up there taking up space. All right, so now we're going to bring this over to this side, and we'll set up our inputs here. And now that'll give us even more sand coming out here. And we want to make sure that, yeah, these are the ones. Yeah, we'll just set these for near. So there we go. So now we have our near side and our far side, which will keep that as full as it can keep it. But we're definitely going to need even more than that, because at least for now, until our landfill gets full, we don't really have enough room. So I'm going to go ahead and set up another set of these over here to give us even more sand production. And all the things I picked up, I did not pick up enough of those. But what I can do is this. And that is literally all those can move. So I may... Yeah, we may change this actually. I'll think about it. What I'm thinking is running a dual belt through the middle and see how that works. But that'll be for another day. Right now, we just want to get something done and in the books for getting us our quartz, and then we can optimize the setup a bit more later on down the road. Because like I said, this is going to get a lot bigger. So there's going to be a pretty good chance that we're going to need to do multiple iterations of optimization. But first thing we need is filtration. And so we're going to set these up. Where do I want to set these up actually? To be honest, I'm thinking maybe we'll go up above there, because we're going to need another smelting array as well, because silicon is going to be from cooking the quartz. So we need filtration first, and then we need the smelting. So I'm going to need a bigger area than just what I have right here, which probably means taking out more forest. And remember, we're going to need a lot of this because we need the silicon for both the solar panels and for the circuits. Just trying to think of how I want to do this. This is the problem with not coming up with your ideas and doing things on the fly. Is sometimes they take a little bit more thinking. But thinking slows me down. I do things a lot better if I just start throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. prep work is not my thing. Okay, so we've got that done. I don't want to clear all this right now. That's going to be a royal pain in the ass. There is an area up here that's not quite so dense. We could easily take it up there and do it up above where our tree farm is. But the problem with taking it up there is we're going to be doing circuits probably up there. So we're going to need lots of room up there for circuits. And so we probably should do it down in this area, because we're going to need to put it on a train to get it where we need it to go for some of it. So give me a minute. Let me start clearing some trees and thinking about exactly how I want to do this. I'm seriously thinking right now, though, we're going to move this wall. I didn't want to do it before, but I'm thinking we're going to do it now, because we have a coal vein here, we have a coal vein here, we have a copper vein here, and we also have a copper vein here. This one's still going to be outside, but we could get all three of those and our immersite that's sitting out there if we just move this wall over to, say, here where the black line is, and then we go up from there. I'll have to probably kill some biters. But let's go ahead just for today. That seems like a good idea for something to do in our next live stream. So let's go ahead and just set these up for now, like this. And then I will decide on where we're going to move it to and how we're going to do it later. Okay, so that's going to be our sand input. Then we need water, which means I really should move that down just a little bit, because this is going to be coming right across like that. So if we move it to right there, and we are going to have some production over here for we may actually make some red circuits here. I'm not sure yet. We could also possibly use these for the solar panels as well. How much does solar panels take? 5 silicon per solar panel. All right, well, that's not too terrible. Turn that, turn that. And there we, how did I get there and get stuck in there? That was weird. All right, so that is going to be our quartz. And give me a minute. I've got to go get some supplies. All right, and it looks like we're going to need to worry about at least one of these 2 coppers over here very soon, because this is now running quite strong because of making the batteries, and our smelting area here is probably going to need to be upgraded. Also, you know, we're going to be making red circuits, so we're going to need them for that, as more copper for that as well. All right, so now I can actually get a bunch of these in here. And I also want to do this because we're not going to need quite all of that over there. So we're going to have this come in over here to help fill in that, to make sure we have plenty of sand going up there and we can actually smelt our glass. All right, so now we need to set up the smelting for this. So that'll give us our silicon. And we'll do another one over on this side. And then we can actually move these up into here. As I am really going against what I said about leaving enough room for everything, because I am most definitely not doing so right now. And then we will set up a smelting area over here for right now that'll just get us our silicon and get it done. And then we possibly will use that silicon for the solar panels. So now we're going to need, come over here with it. Hold on, we need to do this, that. This comes up that way. This comes down this way. We'll bring coke in. That glass is still using coal. Huh. Well, we're going to fix that. Oh, we can't take that out of there. That's kind of an issue. I also just filled my inventory again. Not that that's anything new. Just get rid of all of that. And so that's not going to be able to be moved. We could bring the coke down this way. We definitely want to get this coal out of here and get it upgraded to coke. So we're going to do that. Get rid of this. And now we're going to change this so it comes in one higher. No, one's not going to be enough. We're going to have to come in. Yeah, one's high enough. So we can come in there. And then have that go over there. So now that'll give us our coke there, which will end up giving us our coke into this one. And then we can do the same thing, except we don't want our coke coming in there. Yeah, I really need to get these moved somewhere else. We have enough room. Sort of. We sort of have enough room here. We got to get this coal out of here. Then we can set up making the stone brick and the glass down here. We're going to need the glass. Well, what we can probably do is leave the stone brick up there and set up the quartz and the glass down here, because we're going to need to offload that into a train to go to wherever we're going to end up doing circuits. So that's what we'll end up doing. I just need to get that coal down there out of here. So for right now, let's just go ahead and this those out of there. Some more trees out of here. Okay, that'll take care of that part. And then we just need to get the coke over there. And I'm going to steal it from up above. Like I said, we're going to move most of this after our next live stream anyways. Well, we're going to move it in our next live stream, so not a big deal. We'll just move it over to here. This will at least get some moving for us for now. As a proof of concept. Okay, so this is silicon. And I'm assuming we're going to need, yeah, faster inserters here. Okay, so those inserters are enough. The reduction here is we're going to make 9 silicon out of 18 quartz. So it's a 2-to-1 reduction. So, like I said, we're going to need a ton more filtration because there's not nearly enough even for these 6 smelters. And we need lots of silicon. But now this will at least give us silicon that we can start making solar panels, because we're getting rather close on power. And we can make at least a few red circuits. We're not going to be making a ton of them, obviously, but we can at least get a basic setup started for our red circuits with this as well. And I actually do not want to run that over that way. Crap. Like I need more wood in my inventory. We actually want this to come in down here on this lower lane. Actually, we could run it here. Yeah, let's run it here so it's with the glass. We can always put more copper down there if we end up needing it. So that won't be bad. And instead of going through where the iron is, we'll just have it come in right here. And that'll take care of that. So it's a little rough, but we now have our silicon. So now we can set up making our electronic components once we get plastic up here. But again, I don't know that we're going to make them in this area. We are going to need them in this area for things like our bulk inserters are going to need them. And we'll need them for bots and things like that. And there's probably going to be some machines that are going to need them. But the main thing is we can get some solar panels made. And so we will probably, wait a minute. Yeah, that just needs straight silicon. So yeah, we can set up getting solar panels. So maybe we'll look at that after we get done with the next live stream this weekend. And then we can set up a small solar area until we can set up the big one, because power is going to really start becoming a problem. And I will also move this wall over in that live stream, and we definitely need to get the turret set up, because as you see, we're getting into some large biters here. So what I'll probably do, since we have another thing of coal here and that copper there, is I'll probably come across here and go ahead and take these guys out, move the wall over to about where this black line is, run that up. Hopefully the water continues up there, and then that'll give us all of this room we can use for mining these ores. That'll give us more room up top here, which this is probably going to be where we start making our circuits. It'll give us some more room for train stuff, because we've already got these 3 in here, and I just talked about adding 2 more smelting arrays down here. I'll also make sure that this starts getting mined up, and that it, instead of this one, will be the priority, so it'll get used up as quickly as possible. Although it is 4 times as big, we may even have to set up a storage area for that. But I'll go ahead and let you guys go for today. I'll get all this worked on, depending on how it goes. We may end up having a live stream in the middle of the week, because we may be doing the circuit areas. So if you're interested in watching that, go check out our Patreon. Low as $1. You can watch it live while I do it, but that's at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm assuming most of you probably aren't awake to watch it then, anyways. But you can watch it before it actually gets released, or it'll be released as normal for everybody that is free members or higher. Thanks again to my patrons for all the support. You guys help out a bunch. And I will see you guys next time. And since I don't think I've said it for this series, if you haven't, hit the button, do the things. Later.